Good morning, everyone. My name is Remy Polk. I am the Director of Sales here at Palo. With me today is Erin Perch. Um, Thank you so much for joining with us today, Erin. You should have received an email from me just saying thanks for registering. If you didn't, please, in the comments, let me know. That way I can send you out the recording after we're done. Erin, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself as we go through?
Sure. My name is Erin Persh, and I have been a teacher or a counselor for 15 years. I started out as a special education teacher, and then, my last 10 years have been as a school counselor. And I live in Pennsylvania, and it's a small town called Grove City. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Erin's gonna walk us through a little bit about how her school has incorporated Palo here soon. But before we get into that, I love a good icebreaker. And so for our icebreaker today, we're gonna do where you're from. So I looked you up, Erin, and I put a little pin where you are. I don't think it's correct, so just bear with me. But I'm from Wyoming. Not originally, but that's where I reside now. And Erin, did you say where you were from in Pennsylvania in your intro?
Yes. It's called Grove City, and it's about an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Awesome, cool. And with us today, just go ahead and in the comments. We would love to see where you're from. So just go ahead and type where you're from. And then next time we'll add a pin to where people are. All right. And then just to kind of go through today, just so everyone has an idea of what to expect, we're going to do an intro of Palo. So we're going to go through kind of the meat and potatoes, our student platform. I'm going to show you our teacher portal and our counselor dashboard. But we typically save kind of the full intro of that for our one-on-one demo. So Erin has said that she's going to kind of walk us through what to expect and how she uses the teacher portal and the counselor dashboard. So you can kind of get a good idea of how those work. And then Erin, again, is going to share us a little bit of her story, and then we'll save Q&As for the end. And I can answer any questions about Palo, and then Erin is here to answer any questions on the counselor's side of things. Does that work for you, Erin? Perfect. Okay, here we go. Um, so I am the sales director here, but Erin and I would love to know your role. So I'm assuming in your school, implementing an SEL program might look a little bit different for each role. So today we're going to focus kind of on that counselor aspect, so that number 3. But in the comments, go ahead and write 1, 2, or 3 or 4. So, who you are. Awesome. Okay, so with that, coming with different challenges, as we were creating Palo, we kind of found 2 different buckets for SEL and implementing SEL. The first bucket is kind of for teachers and admin. It was too much effort, very complicated, and there was really no insight on student progress, which kind of makes it hard to want to do. That second portion is for the students. So we found that students aren't really engaging in SEL, and it's really boring for them. Excuse me. So that's how we have kind of created Palo to be very fun, very interactive, and very short for students, so we keep that engagement. Erin, is this something that you have kind of seen as you were implementing SEL in your school?
Yes. One of the comments that I've heard multiple times from our teachers is that we're removing time from the academics by
Right.
implementing an SEL program. And so we've been kind of ongoing dialogue and conversations regarding that initial aspect and point of view.
Mhm.
You know, most of the time as secondary educators, they are there to teach, their subject area. And
Right.
so I think having a different outlook on the whole child and, trying to understand some of the different parts of the children has been an ongoing, struggle, and just that our teachers may not be equipped to teach the SEL program to the best they feel like they can do. So that's been kind of some of the challenges that we've had. But with Palo, as you know, like it just is so wonderful because it's already curriculum created and it's on the computers. So the teachers have really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Awesome. Sweet. And as you were kind of researching SEL, um, would you say it was hard to implement a program in your school? Were your admin on board with it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question too. So I have been in my role right now for the last 7 years. And since the beginning, I've been trying to find the perfect fit for us
Hmm.
and with our
Definitely.
school. And I've researched many different programs, and our elementary school started with a certain program that really wasn't appropriate for middle schoolers. So we tried to, about 3 years ago, utilize an extension of what they were doing in the elementary school.
Hmm.
And we went into the physical education classrooms once a month and kind of did an impromptu SEL program that we created as counselors. It wasn't really working. And then we adjusted that a little bit. I saw the Palo, and I reached out and they offered to do a pilot program. So with that pilot program, I was able to intentionally pick 11 students to try it out. And we tried it out for 6 months to see if it would work, if it wouldn't work, how we would have this, engagement be appropriate for our students. And from there, with my admin, we decided to create a homeroom SEL time. And we have 12 minutes per day for all of our students, grades 6 through 8. And they are with the same teacher for the next 3 years and with the same students. So it kind of creates that community. But it is the perfect time to incorporate our SEL program of Palo.
Awesome. I love that you mentioned that you did the pilot. I kind of forgot that you did that, but I think it's so good for you to kind of share that because sometimes people are hesitant to pull a trigger because they're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. So I love that Palo has that option to kind of test the waters. And we are pretty flexible, like you said. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're gonna do one more poll. Now that Erin has shared her challenges in her school, I would love to hear what you guys are facing. So again, in the comment section, you can just type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us know what challenges you face in the school, and I'll give you guys some time to do that. Let's get going. All right, so kind of what you came here for is the student platform. And so Palo is the solution to all SEL challenges. So we really, like Erin said, we'd like to incorporate everyone, every stakeholder in the school, and to really help nurture those students. So for teachers, for students, counselors, and admin. And then let me stop sharing and let me pull up the meet with part. Pull that up really quick. Okay, can everyone see my screen? It's Casey on it. Good? Okay, good. Okay, so this is our student platform. So Palo has made it super easy for every student to be able to log on. So just log on to any computer, Chromecast, stationary desk. They're gonna log in. It's gonna say hi, Casey, or whatever that student's name is. Okay. First thing that they're gonna do is their feeling thermometer. So we like to have this just as a grounding experiment and exercise for our students. Now that we can kind of monitor how they feel throughout each lesson and each day. Erin, can you share a little bit about the feeling thermometer? Do your students like it? Is it easy for you to kind of check in and regulate what your students are feeling?
Yes, I have really learned to love having these data on a daily basis, especially with the new counselor dashboard. I'm able to quickly verify and see where my students are. And from there, I can pull them in, have some conversations, trying to have that balance between, well, I saw that you put on you're very uncomfortable,
Right.
but trying to use, words and phrase it a certain way to make sure I check in with the student. And 9 times out of 10, it's been a great conversation, and I've been able to find ways to help the student feel more comfortable for whatever was going on in their personal life.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I personally have heard great things about the feeling thermometer, so good. Okay, now to the learning modules. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing because that would take another 20 minutes, and I know you guys are very busy. But I'm going to highlight the different portions of it, and then Erin can really talk about it in the beginning. Okay, so the first one, let me go back, is the intro. So this is going to highlight the topics. So Palo has 32 learning topics that are CASEL and ASTA approved. So this one that we're going to demo is the growing responsibility. So the first thing that they're going to do, feeling thermometer, and then they're going to log on and watch a quick video just introducing the topic. And again, I'm not going to show you all of it, but in the comments, if you'd like to do the self demo yourself, I am more than happy to send that demo to you. Okay, so they're going to watch this video. We typically try to keep these videos about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then they're going to their thoughts after watching the video. Next is the coaching portion. So it's really the meat and potatoes of the learning topic. So again, they're just going to highlight what they're going to be learning. And then they're going to watch another quick video. In this portion, we do have students either in high school or college kind of talk about the topic. We found that it's really important to have an older peer that the middle schoolers can look up to. And then after learning that, they're just going to go through a couple of these decisions that fit, watch another video, and then that's the lesson. And then the next two are going to be fun games just to tie in what they've been learning. And then the final one is a conclusion. So they're going to choose a card and then type in their responses. So most of our schools break these down 5 minutes a day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for about 5 to 10 minutes. Erin, is that what you guys do?
Yes, so we do that during our homeroom time every day, which is really nice. And we have that 12 minutes. So in case the videos are a little bit longer, or if the kids want to be a little bit more intentional with their responses, they have plenty of time to do that.
Muted. There we go. Was it easy for you to implement Palo and get all set up to just students?
Yeah, so it was pretty easy. Working with Palo and the technology piece, the first few days, the internet crashed, but we were able to get that implemented, and the students now, especially our sixth graders, they know that Eagle time is time for Palo, and they go in and they kind of reflect before they start the day. And something that we changed this year is all of our teachers are really focusing on ensuring all students learn, and that is like our motto across the board. So it's such a wonderful way to start the day with Palo and thinking and reflecting and making sure they are ready to learn. So this is just such a great way to get started on the right foot and make sure all of our needs are met before we get started with our academics.
So that's kind of the student portion. Let's talk about the teacher portion. So in the beginning of the lesson week, you're going to get an email that kind of just goes over what the students are learning and what the topic is. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing because we like to save this for the one-on-one. But can you just talk a little bit about how your teachers incorporate this in the classroom?
Yeah, so it's really nice to have that overall upcoming what they're going to do in the week so that they can kind of integrate that within their lessons throughout the day. And, if they're working on responsibility, they can talk about that and use some of that language that they're learning throughout the Palo lessons within their own curriculum, which is really nice. And it also gives them different ways and different ideas if they have time for an extension activity, which is really nice as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. And then the last thing we'll really just cover is our counselor dashboard. So like I said, we saved kind of going over all of this for the one-on-one demo. But would you just how you like what are kind of your favorite parts of the counselor dashboard?
Man, I could talk and talk and talk about the counselor dashboard and how much it has helped me intentionally work with tier 2 students, tier 3, and just the overall tier 1 students who would never be on my radar. The thermometer, like we said earlier, really has helped me pull kids in that I would have never thought to have a conversation about or with regarding some of them had to do with grades, some of them had to do with some family things going on. And they just would have never been on my radar because they are presenting as being okay and adaptable. So that has helped so much. The other thing is I love the feeling trend that you have up there right now. It was so interesting. Overall, our comfortability for our school is relatively low, so that's the good thing. There was a huge spike on one of the days back in January, and when I looked to see, it was actually on our flexible instruction day because of weather. So all of the students were home instead of being at school. So it just goes to show it actually is working. The kids are, putting it on there. I probably would have thought, they were at home in their PJs, but for some students, maybe they weren't going to have breakfast and lunch that day. So it really was a worry for them, or if it was out of schedule or out of routine, maybe that made them feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it was just really interesting to see that trend and that specific time. But yeah, I have a lot of stories about all of the wonderful things from the dashboard. It's so great. It's so great.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll just highlight it since I have it pulled up. You can, as a counselor, you can see the engagement. So something that I personally have loved hearing is just another way to monitor your students and if Pal is even working. Sweet, awesome. So Michael said that's amazing. So yeah, it is. It's awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for being with us today. We're gonna go kind of jump into any questions. I'll hang out here for a couple minutes. But until then, Erin, what's been your favorite part about Palo so far?
Yeah, my favorite part, I would say just being able to have real world and real life data with SEL. I've tried to utilize pre and post assessments and things like that for some of my lessons with SEL, but this is just already created and it has even more than pre and post assessment qualities and data that I can really pull from and have conversations and just help kids more than I would have been able to without it. So I think that's the number one thing.
Here, oh gosh, I muted again. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I know your schedule is probably really busy. But Erin, you can go and I'll hang out just a little bit longer. For anyone that has any questions about next steps, really our next steps is to schedule a one-on-one. And that way we can kind of learn more about your SEL challenges and we can kind of start to create a schedule to implement in your own school. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Erin, thank you again for coming and joining us today. And we'll see everyone next time.
Thank you.